Time now for the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
That's right. Welcome to the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge right here on WYKR, your country. We're serving Northeast Vermont and Northwest New Hampshire. I'm Josh, and we've got another great show lined up for you. This week, Gary Moore sits down with Laura Erickson to talk about Kula Fest and the outdoor experiences waiting at Lunenburg, Vermont. From hiking and nature to music, wellness, and community, you'll learn why this unique destination has become a favorite for people looking to reconnect with the outdoors in the Northeast Kingdom. And also, we'll bring you our summer activities report where we visit with Susan Zangla of Vermont Tennis Court Surfacing. Susan shares how professionally resurfaced courts, pickleball courts, and recreational spaces are helping communities and families stay active throughout the summer, because the summer doesn't last long enough here, and we need to take advantage of every single day that we have. And as always, we'll wrap up with Mark Breen from the Fairbanks Museum, where he gives us an extra special long outdoor edge forecast. So it is another chucker block full hour, and I sit down, turn up the radio, enjoy these conversations, and we're going to get started right now.
Good evening. Welcome to Thoughts on the Outdoors. My guest tonight is Laura Erickson from Mountain Cooler Yoga. Yep. We're going to be talking about a special event that's going to be held in the area in July up at Ogontz. Would you talk a little bit about that, Laura?
Yes, thank you for having me. So I own a yoga studio in North Conway called Mountain Kula Yoga, and Kula means community in the language of Sanskrit, the language of yoga. So it was my desire to bring people together in this way that we would all be seeking a more harmonious and peaceful life, and we can reach that through not just the physical practice of yoga, but really gathering in community, really being heard, and working on a devotional practice beyond the mat into meditation, mindfulness, and really nature and the outdoors as well. So the last 3 years, I've held a yoga festival in the North Conway area for people from all over have been coming to this festival, a few hundred people. And it's been a beautiful way, kind of like any industry. I used to be in the outdoor industry, and I'd go to outdoor retailer every couple times a year. And a festival in yoga is kind of the way that we all congregate and meet up in a real dedicated space beyond just a yoga studio where you might go, on your weekly time on your mat to stretch, and that's just part of your daily routine or weekly routine. Whereas this is really kind of like a celebration. And so
a social event.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. Bringing in teachers from many different modalities. There's lots of different kinds of yoga, and there's many different ways that we can reach a state of yoga, which really is the harmony and the balance of your mind, body, and soul. And
could I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Many of our listeners may know as little about yoga as I do. When you're talking about the state of yoga, explain that, please.
Yeah, so the word yoga actually means to yolk. So if you think of an egg yolk, it's separate, but it's still one thing. And that's where we often say, like, oh, get out of your head into your body, get out of your mind, or we live just in this mental space. But the funny thing is, like, is your head on your body? So your head is part of your body. It's all connected. So the things that are going on in your mind, with your emotions, with your more subtle aspects of your being, are all related. So that's really what yoga is doing when you connect breath to movement in the physical yoga practice. It's called asana, and each posture is an asana. And what I always say is that it's different than other exercises, because you might do something super similar in a yoga class that's really similar to like what you might do as exercise, like doing a sit-up or, crunch. But we are also breathing in a way that we're being very mindful. Often when a yoga teacher will they'll cue the breath. So they'll say, lift up, inhale, come back down, exhale. And it's just that extra piece that's getting you, again, out of the thinking mind, out of the so tangible, we can touch and feel like skin. We know we're a body, but yoga really helps you understand that you're so much more vast than just a body.
Okay, great. That helps. It helps me, at least. I assume it'll help a lot of our listeners.
Yeah.
I interrupted you when you were talking more about the Kula Fest.
Yeah. So Kula Yoga Fest was started to bring the community together around this celebration of yoga. And so we've been doing it for 3 years in North Conway. And this year we are evolving it to be more of a retreat-like festival at Ogontz Mountain Resort in Lyman. And it was something that kind of evolved pretty organically, where I knew that something just needed to shift a little bit in the way it was functioning. And I had originally looked at Ogontz just online and was really mesmerized, was like, that would be super cool. But there was not any availability or openings at Ogontz at that time. And I was throwing the first one together in like 6 months. So I really didn't have time to plan it. And so this past fall, after we finished Kula Yoga Fest in 2025, I was like, maybe I'll look into what the other options would be. And I reached out to Dave at Ogontz, and he responded right away when I said, I have like this yoga wellness event that we do. And I'd love to, maybe see your space, see if, it might be something that would be feasible. And it was very serendipitous at the point that I was able to actually just come over the next day and see it. And he said, I've been waiting for someone like you to come and present me with this idea for like 10 years. So it was just kind of perfect timing. And we put our heads together. And I mean, basically he was like, we are only limited by our imagination, because Ogontz is vast. Oh. There are so many nooks and crannies there. I mean,
350 acres, and you got the lake and all sorts of cabins to stay in. And it's a special place. Yeah,
for sure. So I was really enchanted by all the opportunity. And so we just dove in, and we're planning it for July 24th to 26th. And I can tell you more about how we're going to use all that space. The lake, for starters, we've always done sound baths. And a sound bath is when someone comes in with several crystal bowls and they play them and they resonate at different frequencies. Right. And it's actually scientifically proven that it helps heal the body. The body is made up of, mostly water. And so when you play these bowls, they're actually healing frequencies are being emitted, and you're absorbing that same frequency. So we are going to have someone on a dock on the lake playing the bowls. She's done this before in other locations, so it's just perfect. And she's actually been coming to Kula Yoga Fest for quite a while. So there will be people sitting on one dock, laying down and hearing the crystal bowls play off of the lake. Oh, wow. Yeah. So that's one way. So the water in the lake will be like the sounding board of a musical instrument? Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Great. If you think about, if you've ever seen just like a frog ribbiting in, and then the water ripples out from it ribbit, what is that called? Croaking. Yeah. So, the other way we'll use the lake is with stand-up paddle boards. There's SUP yoga, stand-up paddleboard yoga. So it adds this extra element of balance to the practice, but also just very mindful. You're out in nature when it's very different to be moving through postures outside versus when you're inside, because we often use our gaze is called your drishti, and you focus on one point that's not moving, and that helps your breathing and your posture to settle into coherence and helps you balance when you have one thing to gaze at. But when you're outside, you're looking up at the sky and there's nothing there but
how
just
do you
open
determine
sky.
what one thing to look when you're on the edge of the lake at Ogontz?
Yeah. So it adds this extra element and really helps you connect and get into your body.
Wow.
So doing some postures, maybe seated, maybe a little bit standing. I've practiced it a little bit. I've fallen in the lake. It's fun. It's
Great.
just really fun.
Well, I think that's a good place for us to pause for a moment.
Okay.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
The Autosaver Group St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
Miles Supply, your stop for all your general business products, paper towels, toilet paper, first aid kits, and more. Purchase your paper and soap products from Miles, and they'll install the dispensers for free. Do you own a salon, restaurant, coffee shop, or gym making a monthly run to the big box store for your business supplies? Save time with Miles Supply. Call today for a sales visit, 476-3963, or walk directly into their showroom, 143 Boynton Street next to Spalding High School. Miles Supply, family-owned and building relationships since 1954.
You've picked the paint colors, maybe even sketched a layout on the back of an envelope, or made the playlist for your grand opening. But without a design, it's just a dream. Riverside Design Works in Bradford makes those dreams real for families and small businesses across the Upper Valley. Affordable, functional, and community-focused. We build for your needs and within your budget. But heads up, the 2026 construction season is booking fast. If you want shovels in the ground next year, you need plans today. Keep it simple. Riverside Design Works. Smart choices, reliable results.
In this part of the world, summer always feels a little bit borrowed. So when the sun's out, folks around here put it to good use. Whether it's fishing, target practice, or just looking for an excuse to stay outside till dark, CCR Sports in St. Johnsbury has the gear and supplies to help. Before the weekend gets away from you, make sure you're ready for it. Visit ccrsports.net today. CCR Sports has something for all seasons and all ages. And summer's too short to spend half of it looking for what you need. That's ccrsports.net.
Every business story starts small. As you share your story, it creates movement, and movement builds momentum. Your social media and website are the conduits for that story. It's about more than clicks and views. It's about creating connection, community, and opportunity to do business. It's time to tell your story. Go to northeastkingdomonline.com. Our local Vermont team can help you get more from your online media. Once again, that's northeastkingdomonline.com.
When the sun is high and the to-do list grows, it's time to call the folks who know. From mudroom builds to summer repairs, Bachelor shows up and truly cares. Remodels, upgrades, porches too. No job too small, they'll see it through. So make this summer your best one yet with vtcarpenter.com, your safest bet.
Welcome back to Thoughts on the Outdoors. If you're just joining us, my guest is Laura Erickson from Mountain Kula Yoga. We're talking about the Kula Yoga Fest that's going to be held the end of July at Ogontz up in Lyman. Laura, tell us some more about it.
Yeah. So oftentimes people will come into my yoga studio or come to the festival or think about coming to the festival, and they'll wonder, can I really do yoga, or can I do yoga for 3 days straight? And
can I do yoga at 80 years? I'm not very flexible.
Oh my goodness. Well, at Mountain Kula Yoga, we actually have an 80, maybe 83 or 84-year-old teacher. So she's a huge hit because people see her and she's so inspirational that it really shows them that it is for any age, and the teachers will really meet you where you're at. So if they see that you have some mobility limitations, there's what we call props that can help you, and that's in the form of like blocks. We literally have blocks, and we have bolsters. So not just a yoga mat, but there's a lot of other accessories that can help you get into a posture, and it's wonderful for longevity. So it's really something you can start at any time. And when people ask if they have to be flexible, I'm like, no, you don't have to be flexible yet, but yoga will help you to get more flexible.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want someone to get me in a position where I lock up and I can't get out.
Right. It's not just about being in a pretzel shape.
It's sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It really helps to open the channels of the body that help you breathe better. You know, the breath is a huge indicator of where your nervous system lies. So if your breath is really shallow, you might be in more of a state of lethargy or depression. It's so good for people's mental health. And if your breath is really rapid, you might be more in a state of anxiety. So coming into tune with the breath is so important. And that's where, like, at the start of any yoga class, there's going to be some groundings. So meaning, like, you're really just closing your eyes if that feels okay for you, and just kind of cutting out the noise of the world and what's going on, because you're going to be there for that set class time. It's not forever, but it just helps you lock in to, like, this is all I need to do right now. I'm just going to be with me and my experience, and you start to come into coherence with your breath, and then that helps to move some stagnant energy in your body. So, yeah.
Good. I mean, you've already talked about 2 of the classes.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear about some more, but what just popped into my feeble brain is you talked about being focused for that particular class. What are we talking about for time for some of these sessions or classes?
Yeah. So most of them will go for either an hour to 75 minutes.
Okay.
That's a typical yoga class length. And but what we have beyond yoga, where you're on your yoga mat and you're doing yoga postures, is we also have dedicated times in the morning so that people can they'll be at Ogontz, staying over and totally immersed in the space, staying in cabins and cottages there. And they'll be able to get up on Saturday and Sunday morning and just go down by the lake, and we'll lead them through a guided meditation and some specific breath work to help them just come into a place where, a lot of people say they can't meditate because they can't stop the thoughts in their head. And that's not what we're doing either. You're always going to have thoughts in your mind. However, it's that little moment where you notice, oh, I was just thinking again. Then you come back to your breath, or there might be a word or a phrase or the teacher's voice that brings you back into the moment. And that's the little part that changes the brain, really, that helps. Every time you do that over and over and over again, you're teaching the brain to move from a place of reaction to response. It's just like flossing, like we wouldn't go without brushing our teeth and flossing our teeth. And so yoga is like that. It's not, this event is like one way for people to experience maybe meditation in a way that they hadn't experienced it before, or maybe have never tried it. And it's like a little sampler of a lot of different things, but hopefully it's the catalyst to somebody really making some change, if that's, what's needed for them. Because they're life practices. Sure. And it's called a practice because you don't ever just master it. Most likely we're not all, evolved masters, but we are kind of trying to master our own domain in a certain way so that we can find more happiness and joy in our life. And that's a big part of it too. Like we're just going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you talked about, in the morning, perhaps going down to the water, but I know enough about Ogontz. There's a lot of hiking trails to get out in the woods, get away from people.
Yeah.
There's a waterfall.
Yeah.
Exactly. My idea of meditating would be beside the waterfall.
Well, that's one of the things on the schedule.
Trying to clear my mind.
Yep, that's on the schedule too. So we have somebody from Southern New Hampshire, Caitlin Mueller-Cusack, will be coming back for the 4th year to guide mindful hike, and she will be taking people up the Ridge Trail and down towards the waterfall, and they'll take some time there to meditate at the waterfall.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I sort of got off track with you, or got you off track. I was asking you to talk about more of the types of yoga. Why don't you continue with that?
Yeah. So it's really important that when people arrive that, they could be traveling from wherever or maybe just down the road. But when we get there, we really take some time to just acknowledge why we're there, maybe set an intention for the weekend. And so there'll be a little fire ceremony where people will be able to kind of make that statement, whether it's out loud or internally. And then the class I'm going to teach from the start is called Come Alive. But first I'll help people just arrive and ground there, and we'll just kind of have like a little, here we are, welcome. And then we'll really get into it with some fun music and some movement, and really accessible to any level of practitioner. And then after that, there'll be a meal. Of course, there's going to be meal breaks. And then towards the evening, people will have choices too. They can do as much or as little as they want to do. But that evening, there's going to be a restorative yoga class. And restorative yoga is when we're really having a passive stretch, and you're mostly letting your body kind of go, and you're just letting go any tension, tightness. You're using these props that I spoke of, like a bolster, and you're lying back, and you're really being kind of cocooned in, and the teacher might come around and just place a blanket on you, or make sure that you're not propping yourself up and kind of working extra hard, when really what the purpose is just to sink in.
Relax.
Yep, just totally to relax. And that can be agitating for people because people aren't used to stopping and settling down. So just similar to meditation, but it's a little bit of a passive stretch. So that's one kind. And then we're also going to have some live music and sing-alongs, and that gets the voice open. We really shine like our truth out through the voice. And so it's impactful to use your voice.
Sure. So if I understand correctly, there'll be multiple sessions of an hour to an hour and 3/4. And do they sign up for these ahead of time?
Yeah. So
they know when they get there kind of what they're going to have for a schedule?
Exactly. We actually use a platform called Sched, short for schedule.
Okay, yeah.
And so they just pick which things they want to do. We're not really holding people to most of them because most of them won't fill up completely. Sure. But like
they could take like 2 in the morning and a couple in the afternoon, and then the evening when it's already scheduled, sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So they can it's really choose your own adventure.
Okay. I think, again, that's a good place for us to pause.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
We live somewhere incredible, and all of us at the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department want you to make the most of it. Hiking, hunting, birding, fishing, or even just sitting by a stream for a few minutes after work. Vermont's woods and waters make it possible, and protecting them is our responsibility. So we hope you'll lace up your boots and hike an old woods road on one of our wildlife management areas, or put in for a day at the lake at one of our access areas. We protect these places for their own sake, for the wildlife who call them home, and for you.
Welcome back to Thoughts on the Outdoors. If you're just joining us again, my guest today is Laura Erickson from Mountain Kula Yoga. We've been talking about the Kula Yoga Fest, which is going to be held in Lyman at the famed Ogontz. From everything I'm hearing, it's going to be a great time to do yoga, meet new friends, relax in a wonderful place. Laura, you want to continue talking about what's going to happen?
Yeah. I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is that it's really an opportunity for people to unplug. We're so connected digitally, constantly on screens and plugged in, and yet we're also so disconnected as a society. And so this is really an opportunity for people to put the phones away, go talk to somebody over a meal. We're going to have
meet new friends, because a lot of these people aren't going to know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're coming from all over, right?
Yeah, they really are. Yep. Coming from all over. Some people are coming as a group or a pair, but a lot of people are coming solo as well. It's so welcoming to anyone in those situations. And so you'll have this opportunity to sit down and have a delicious and healthy meal. That's the other aspect of yoga. We're really mindful of everything that we put in our body, from not just what we put in our mouth, but also what we see through our eyes and what we read. And so the news and things happening in the world can really affect us deeply. And this is that time to not ignore it or bypass it, but to be able to just kind of process and sit with people that you may have, real healing conversations with. And so yeah, we're going to have some really delicious food. I practice Ayurveda, which is the sister science to yoga. And Ayurveda is an ancient healing way of living where that your body is actually made up of the 5 elements. So then we look at the way we eat and the time of the day and the seasons, and we eat seasonally. We eat, foods that are in season, and we get our circadian rhythm going so that we can sleep better. And so I'm going to be doing a cooking class around Ayurveda, and there's a little quiz that you can take to learn what aspect elements you are made up of, like primarily, that are primary in your body. So that's one of the things I'm offering and looking forward to.
So how many instructors you have coming? I know they're coming from far away, some of them a little more local.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we have people from the New England area and New Hampshire, as well as far away as Sedona, Arizona, Minnesota. So people, Washington State. So people are coming from all over. But we have about 15 different teachers and 30 some different classes and offerings that you can take. And that's also not to overwhelm people, that they don't need to squeeze it all in. And we're really encouraging people to come check it out, be at Ogontz, really be immersed and take the time to go down to the water and go for a hike and just relax, lay in the grass, just enjoy the beauty of it all.
Let the stress go away, hopefully.
Yeah. And then
not watching television is probably going to be a big help.
Exactly. Yeah. And then
especially the news.
Yeah. And then hopefully these things that people learn, if this is new to them, or maybe they're kind of getting back on to a healthy path, they can take this stuff with them, and really hopefully it really becomes embodied, where there's some muscle memory or some motivation and inspiration from all these wonderful teachers. That's the biggest thing, I think, is when we just come into this space together, we just feel like a motivation that everybody is lifting each other up.
Right. Good. Yeah. One of the things that stood out for me when I first started investigating what you're trying to do is, the facility. Yeah. But a lot of what you're talking about is predicated on being done outside. What's the fault? What happens if there's rain all day Saturday and thunderstorms?
Yeah.
That changes things.
Yeah. Well, we have some rain contingency plans. There's actually definitely some things inside because Ogontz Hall is absolutely stunning. So we will be having yoga classes and live concerts, music in that space,
Right.
As well as a dance, like it's called ecstatic dance. So that'll be Saturday night as well. But if it rains, we will just be in that space. Sup yoga may or may not happen depending on, thunder and lightning, but otherwise, and same with the hike, we're asking people to bring appropriate hiking shoes and rain jackets, and that hike probably would still be able to happen. And if not, a little contingency is that there is other indoor space that's really beautiful. They have the old rehearsal hall, which was, has the traditional old camp stage on it.
Right.
And so we were going to screen some documentaries that will also help people on their wellness path at that time.
Great.
Yeah, that's kind of a contingency plan.
Well,
so people might hope that it rains.
When I first heard about the Kula Yoga Fest, I was intrigued, and that's why I contacted you. Not knowing much of anything about yoga, but also, having strong feelings about Ogontz and its history. It goes back to 1923?
Yeah.
When it was an elite girls summer camp. A lot of famous people attended camp there. But it's, I've been to the facility a couple of times. It's just a spectacular place to do anything.
Yeah.
And it seems to me if yoga is about removing stress, relaxing, putting world events away behind you for a while, that's the place to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So you could come for the whole weekend and everything is all inclusive. One price, and you get a cabin to stay in. Now we do have most of the cottages are sold out and the single rooms are sold out, but we have there's so many cabins there.
Sure.
So there's lots of cabin space left and you get everything. You can use all of Ogontz. They've got beach volleyball and pickleball and all those kinds of things. They have a hot tub and a sauna. All the events for the festival, as well as all of your meals, are all included. Or if you can't make it for the whole weekend, we have Saturday day passes from the beginning to the end. And so that's a way that people that maybe live closer or don't have the whole weekend to dedicate to it, that they can also get a good taste and know that they want to come again next year.
Great.
Yeah.
So if people are listening to this are interested in participating, what do they do? Google Kula Yoga Fest or what?
We have a website. It's www.kulayogafest.com, and that's KULA yogafest.com. And all the information is on there. You can see the schedule, the lineup of the teachers that are coming and the classes that'll be held, and what times. And then it'll also share the cabins and what all is included with that, and they can always reach out as well to hello@mountainkulayoga.com if they have any questions.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we also have social media, so we're on Instagram and Facebook at Kula Yoga Fest.
Okay. Well, our time is about up, Laura. Is there anything else you want to emphasize before we say goodbye?
I just hope people find us. It's a beautiful opportunity to really experience Ogontz and experience a really joyful and uplifting event in kind of hard times around now. So, yeah.
That sounds like what we need.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And good night to all of you.
All right, and that was the conversation that Gary Moore had with Laura Erickson talking about Kula Yoga Fest. And coming up next is our summer activities report, and that takes us to Vermont tennis court surfacing. Susan Zangla joins us to talk about tennis, pickleball, court resurfacing, and how communities across Vermont and northern New Hampshire are getting ready for another active summer. That's coming up after these important messages.
It's the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
The Autosaver Group St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, Do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
So we are honored to have with us over the phone Susan Zangla, who is the co-owner of Vermont Tennis Court Surfacing, and you guys are based out of St. Johnsbury.
We are, yes, we are.
And you are the oldest tennis court surfacing company in Vermont. Is that true?
It's certainly in St. Johnsbury.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about, there's not a lot left in Vermont. A lot of them have closed. Some of the older ones, I believe, have closed. But we're still here.
Yeah, and you've been around since 1969. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
More than 50 years. Yeah.
Okay. And so we're talking a little bit about like our summer activities. This is the time of year too, Susan, where people are out and about. And what I love about Vermont and northern New Hampshire is like we don't take summer for granted. We are out as much and soaking in as much as we can because we know we're not going to have this much sunlight for a long time, especially when you get in towards fall and winter. Now, talk to us a little bit about, because I know before when we were talking on the phone, you're talking about like pickleball is big now too, huh?
Pickleball is, yes, it took off. It really took off during COVID. Tennis became incredibly popular because you could get together with people and keep that social distance, and have some exercise and get some fresh air. So pickleball did the same because more people are apt to play pickleball. And a grandparent can play with a grandchild, for instance. It was just more sort of friendly for everyone.
Explain a little bit for those that they've heard pickleball before, but what basically back of the envelope, what are the kind of like the rules of pickleball?
The rules of pickleball are pretty simple. Anybody who can Google can find them. It's not a difficult sport. The court is smaller, and the distance between the lines and the net are shorter. There's not as much running, and the ball is sort of like a wiffle ball. So it doesn't travel the way a tennis ball does, and you're playing with paddles versus a net, a tennis racket.
Okay.
So a lot of people really enjoy it. They, you go down south and they play from sunup to sundown.
and this is probably also too is like your busy season now for tennis courts.
It is, yeah. As you mentioned, we don't have a lot of warm weather here. We're challenged in that way. So, and we do a lot of work for summer camps and colleges and schools and whatnot, as well as private. And so those summer camps, they need to get their courts in order, maintained, any repairs that need to be done before their campers come in. And so that's really important. You want those kids to be out there, be using the facilities. And a lot of the tennis courts are also adding pickleball lines to their tennis court so that they can be used for either.
Okay, so they could basically use, as you mentioned, this. For folks that already have tennis courts, you can kind of not resurface, but put in different lines. Is that for pickleball?
Yeah. You can just have someone like us come and we'll paint pickleball lines on your court in a different color so that it's not confusing. for the play. But yeah, it's very simple.
And as you mentioned, because you started back in 2019 with the company, and so you were there pre-COVID. And have you seen has it plateaued, or has there the same amount of people who are playing tennis and pickleball are they keep increasing now that we're past COVID, or is it kind of plateaued a bit?
No, it's still we still get the same amount of calls and interest. It's a lot of people are building courts. They like to have it right in their backyard, and you would really be surprised how many courts are throughout New England. I mean, we work in all of New England, so Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Massachusetts, New York. You could walk through the woods where there's a house, and there's literally a tennis court out there. It's really amazing how many are out there.
All right, we're talking to Susan Zangla, who is a co-owner of the Vermont Tennis Court Surfacing. And you all also, too, your company does tennis courts, cushion courts, basketball courts, fencing and lighting as well?
We do. Yeah, we do. And we also do multi-purpose courts. Inline skating, things like that. Yeah.
And how many would you say your clients are that are, say, like public access, or are they like on private properties?
We have a lot of municipalities, colleges, camps, as I mentioned, but quite a bit of private. Yeah, a lot of private.
So Susan, if somebody wanted to reach out to you and try to get like a quote or an estimate from you and see what their property would be able to hold a pickleball court or a tennis court or basketball court, how would that work?
Well, if they went on our website, we do offer quite a bit of information about a new build, but they can certainly call or email with any questions as well. Generally, what would happen is someone would go out and walk the property, just have the client tell them what they're looking for and what area they'd like to put it in. There are some times, depending on the access, that during a build, you might actually have to build an access road to get the big trucks and whatnot in for the asphalt. So just depending on the access and where the build is, it can sometimes be a little complicated, but it's generally always doable. And for somebody who wants to they have an existing court and they want to just add pickleball lines, it's really very simple to do. It doesn't take much time at all. It's just really a phone call, and schedule somebody to come out and get the lines down for you. And for somebody who wants to maybe just try pickleball, I would suggest you find a local tennis court, because a lot of those courts, they've added pickleball lines to it. It's really inexpensive to get a paddle and some balls.
Right.
And you can Google any information you need as far as rules.
Right. And also, too, if they wanted to, they could always, go to your website or visit your store and go and get a portable net and frame, a pickleball portable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have portable nets, and they're very durable. They're actually really nice. And those are things that can be taken in the winter. You don't have to worry about any maintenance, really. We also open courts and close them. So we'll go to courts, some properties in the spring, and we'll put up their nets, and we'll clean their court, and maybe their windscreen needs to be put up, and then the fall we'll go out and we'll take it all down.
Nice.
So there are customers that really don't have to touch their court. They just have to have, give us a call, and we'll take care of that for them.
Yeah, and you fix cracks, and you also just do resurfacing as well.
Yep, we do. Pretty much any maintenance on the courts, we can take care of for them. Yeah.
Once again, we're talking to Susan Zangla, who is the co-owner of Vermont Tennis Court Surfacing, and they've been around since 1969.
Yeah, a long time.
Long time. Yeah. All right. And so, Susan, if people want to learn more about you and your business, they can go to vttennis.com, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Thank you so much, Susan.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right. And that was a conversation that I had with Susan Zangla. And still ahead, Mark Breen from the Fairbanks Museum joins us with your Outdoor Edge forecast, helping you make the most of your next outdoor adventure. We'll see what the weekend's going to look for us because it is the holiday weekend. So it's coming up right after these important messages.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
Every business story starts small. As you share your story, it creates movement, and movement builds momentum. Your social media and website are the conduits for that story. It's about more than clicks and views. It's about creating connection, community, and opportunity to do business. It's time to tell your story. Go to northeastkingdomonline.com. Our local Vermont team can help you get more from your online media. Once again, that's northeastkingdomonline.com.
We live somewhere incredible, and all of us at the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department want you to make the most of it. Hiking, hunting, birding, fishing, or even just sitting by a stream for a few minutes after work. Vermont's woods and waters make it possible, and protecting them is our responsibility. So we hope you'll lace up your boots and hike an old woods road on one of our wildlife management areas, or put in for a day at the lake at one of our access areas. We protect these places for their own sake, for the wildlife who call them home, and for you.
I'm Mark Breen. Welcome to the Outdoor Edge forecast. July has arrived in classic fashion, heat and humidity, creating a spell of scorching summer weather. It has its fans. It has its critics. They are both vocal and determined that their version of summer is the right one, but I find they're both right, and that steamy summer weather is just as needed and necessary as those refreshing spells of cooler, comfortable nights and fresh ventilating breezes. If you're a fan of the water, some heat and humidity is appreciated. Spending a summer when mornings are cool and you're hoping to head to the lake or you're already there, it's disappointing to have too many days that are reluctant to give you some warmth and sunshine. Certain plants love heat, like corn or tomatoes or certain melons and squashes. Yes, heat and humidity has its place. On the other hand, trying to sleep on a steamy, stuffy night, especially without the modern convenience of air conditioning, that's tough. While July is our warmest month in 6 out of 10 years, the other years going to August, most Julys give us episodes of cooler and less humid air, offering a break from the most constant summer steam bath that they endure, say, in the mid-Atlantic states and the South. Suddenly, it's far more enjoyable on your bike or on a hike, or even doing some construction on outdoor projects. Our days are long, and they won't get a lot shorter through the month. We lose a little more than a half an hour of daylight, which is really only 20 minutes in the evenings, not a great change just yet. And the weather patterns reflect this, with our least organized weather systems leaving it to local influences of the terrain to stir up the occasional welcomed shower or thunderstorm. In fact, the showers and storms are regular enough that July, on the average, is the sunniest and the wettest month, all at the same time. We'll keep that in mind as we get to the forecast for this weekend, starting with a very warm night, an isolated shower or thunderstorm with temperatures 60s to near 70. And then tomorrow, it'll be sunny. It'll still be hot, but maybe not quite as humid, temperatures reaching the lower 90s. By Friday night, skies will be partly cloudy, an isolated or scattered shower around, but temperatures dropping a little bit more in the 60s, so that for Independence Day, there will be some scattered hit or miss showers, but there'll be some sunshine, and it won't be as hot. Temperatures on Saturday in the lower 80s. Saturday night, it'll actually be clear and comfortable. 50s to around 60, and Sunday looks like a sunny day. Temperatures, again, comfortable in terms of humidity, 80 to 85. There'll be a few scattered showers around on Monday, but in general, it looks like next week will be seasonable in terms of temperature with much lower, much more comfortable humidity. That's your Outdoor Edge forecast. I'm Fairbanks Museum meteorologist Mark Breen. Be safe and enjoy the great outdoors.
And that's going to do it for this week's St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge. A big thank you to Laura Erickson for sharing their story of Kula Fest and everything Ogontz has to offer, from outdoor recreation and natural beauty to the experiences that make it such a special destination in Vermont's Northeast Kingdom. And thanks as well to Susan Zangla from Vermont Tennis Court Surfacing for joining us on our summer activities report and showing how quality tennis and pickleball courts help keep our communities active all season long. And of course, thanks to Mark Breen from the Fairbanks Museum for another Outdoor Edge forecast. And if you missed any part of today's show, you can listen to this episode and every past episode anytime on WYKR.com, on the WYKR app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, get outside, enjoy everything summer has to offer, and thanks for listening to the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge.